Sometimes I hear rich people talk about their kids and the way that they treat them. They've accumulated all this money, and with that money, they can provide a certain lifestyle. But the way they talk about their kid, it makes me wonder, do you even like your kid?
You can't say that. Sir, you can't
Is he
say that.
allowed to say that?
It louder. Here we have an article from people.com. It says, Tyler Perry reveals the 2 budget-friendly gifts he bought his son for Christmas to keep him from getting spoiled. And here we have a quote, I don't want him to be that rich, entitled. The article goes on to say, Tyler Perry doesn't splurge on pricey gifts for his son for a very intentional reason. The billionaire producer, age 55, opened up about his surprise parenting philosophies while appearing on the December 18th episode of Sherry. Perry was there to promote his latest project, the Netflix movie, The 666, that's starring Kerry Washington. It's on Netflix if you haven't seen it. We haven't gotten around to it yet, but we're going to eventually take a look. The discussion took an interesting turn when host Sherry Shepard brought up his 10-year-old son, Amon, and asked about his Christmas list. Honestly, I didn't even know Tyler Perry had a son. After watching him play Madea all these years, it was a bit of a surprise for me. The Don't Look Up star surprised Shepard, 57, by promptly responding, he don't get no Christmas list, making it very clear that he won't spoil his kid even on Christmas. He gets 2 things, books and Legos, Tyler continued. So Tyler Perry, for all of the things that he's produced and all the money that he's accumulated, he says he doesn't want his kid to become entitled to the money that he's managed to accumulate over his entire career. And for that reason, his child is not allowed to make a Christmas list. He gets 2 things, books and Legos. 2 very important things in the development of a young kid's mind, books and Legos. On the surface, I would think, what's the issue with that? And it's not really an issue. It's an admirable thing to have a lot of money and say, hey, I don't want my kid to be entitled. I want my kid to have things that formulate and fortify their mind, books and Legos. But when I see stuff like this, it always makes me wonder why rich people treat their kids the way that they do. Do they think that giving their kid nice things, affording them opportunities that other people don't have, are going to spoil them? And it's not just Tyler Perry. It's Bill Gates too. Earlier this year in July, Yahoo Finance reported that Bill Gates' children will only inherit $10 million, 0.0077% of his net worth. Leaving kids a massive amount of money is not a favor. That's Bill Gates' idea. We know that Bill Gates has accumulated a massive amount of money because of his involvement in Microsoft. But despite all the money that he's earned, that he's getting to take advantage of, he's earned it, it's his. He's saying, I only want to leave my kids $10 million. I don't want to ruin them or their future or corrupt them by giving them so much money, even though this is the money that I've accumulated over my entire career. And it's such an interesting concept to me. You've accumulated all of this money and you use it to your advantage. So much so that Bill Gates was receiving backlash after 2020, after the pandemic, because of his alleged involvement with the vaccines. He's used all of the money and influence that he had to have some sort of involvement with the vaccines. But he recognizes that the love of money is the root of all evil. So much so that he doesn't want to leave his kids with more than $10 million. I don't know if that's $10 million each or, $10 million accumulated across all of the kids. I'm not sure how many kids he has, but he's not in a rush to decrease his net worth at all. Yes, he gives away a ton of money, and regardless of how much money he gives away, he's not taking himself from billionaire status to hundred of millionaire status or a 10 millionaire status. But he understands that that money will corrupt his kids if he leaves it to them. And we see this sentiment a lot from people that are rich. And it makes me wonder, do they just dislike their kids? Do they think that they have done such a bad job at parenting that the people that they brought into this world, they can't produce viable, respectful, well-to-do human beings? It's got to be what they think about themselves and their children, because they don't want to leave them a significant amount of money. They don't want to spoil them, quote unquote, by giving them or allowing them to have a Christmas list. And it makes me think, what was the point of accumulating all of that money? Was it to buy influence? I'm not entirely sure. It's a question that has been rattling around in my brain since I saw this clip with Tyler Perry, because I would think, as a husband and as a father, that the point of making money, the point of accumulating any level of wealth, is to give that back to the people that you're responsible for taking care of. For me, that's my wife and 2 kids. For Tyler Perry, that might be, he has hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe $1 billion. I would think that footprint of people that he's taking responsibility of caring for would be significantly greater than my footprint, and Bill Gates as well. But for some reason, they don't want to part ways with their money for the people that come after them to inherit it or to benefit from it. So what was the actual point of working as hard as you do? And yes, there is a point that you want to leave your footprint on the world. Part of that legacy is the people that come after you, the people that you brought into this world and you invest into their mind state and their worldview. Your kids, right? Your spouse. So what is it about the way that these rich people have brought up their kids that makes them feel like they don't want them to have any of the money that they've accumulated, or the vast amount of money that they've accumulated? And I think that it's because they know that the love of money is the root of all evil. To reach a billionaire status, you've absolutely got to have people that love and invest in the products that you produce, right? Whether it's Tyler Perry, if he is a billionaire, with the Medea movies and all of the productions that he's put on through stage plays and movies and owning Tyler Perry Studios that's in Georgia. People are loving the things that you produce. So as a reward for that, the market gives you money. That's how you become a billionaire, right? And I'm not blaming them for that, but it's something about having that much money that is informing the decisions that they're making with their offspring and the people that are coming in the next generation after them. Maybe they know something I don't know, but it's an entirely different approach than what Floyd Mayweather is doing with his offspring and with his grandchildren. Here we have an ex-post, and this comes a week later after Tyler Perry announced that he won't allow his son to have a Christmas list. It says, Floyd Mayweather bought his grandson, Kentrell Jr., a building in the NYC Diamond District for Christmas, continuing generational wealth. So Tyler Perry and Bill Gates, they look at it as, this wealth is mine. What I've managed to accumulate in my time here on Earth and through the energy that I put forward in building this empire that I have, it's for me to benefit. It's not exactly for you to benefit. You're here along for the ride because you're my kid. And that's a far cry from what we see Mayweather doing. He's buying a building in the Diamond District, buying real estate for his grandson, hoping that it'll go up and generations after generations after generations of the Mayweather lineage can benefit from that. I thought that was the entire purpose, to leave the world in a little bit of a better place for the people that come after you than the position that you were in. For example, my parents at some point in their teenage lives, they lived in a shelter. I've never lived in a shelter. I've never had to sleep on the streets. Have I had to share rooms with my brothers? Absolutely. But I've never starved. I've never gone hungry for the night. I may not have eaten exactly what I wanted, but there was absolutely food in the house. And that was the entire purpose. My parents started here, and then I got to step up. I started here, and my kids will have to step up. I thought that was the entire purpose of working hard in your life. But for these rich people, it seems like they know something about having money that the rest of us are just not in tune to, that most of us are not in tune to, because Mayweather has money as well. But Tyler Perry and Bill Gates, they know something about having money that the rest of us, we're just missing out on. And I think that they love money and it's corrupting them, and they see the influence that it could have on the generations that follow them, and they don't want them to go down that same path. So if you like the video, like the video. Subscribe to me back here for the next conversation. And if you have thoughts on generational wealth and passing things down to your kids, let the world know. This is the place for discourse. Till next time. Peace.